So they call it the World Cup. I call it the Soccer Fiesta. The light goes on. We still need to talk about the World Cup and what is happening in Group E. This is a preview, and it's going to be argued by Olale today.
Did we lose Debo?
Kachi, over to you. Go ahead, please.
No, I thought we lost you over there. So
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
yeah. You lost me for a sec, but go ahead. So you start. You anchor the show. I'll be right back.
oh really? Thanks, Debo. Good day everyone. I know Debo says this is not the situation room or the war room, but I believe it is. Welcome to our coverage of the World Cup, FIFA World Cup holding in Qatar. And like Debo said, we are focusing on Group E, which looks somewhat like the group of death, but I'll say the group of half death. Group E comprises of Germany, Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica. Um, Between the four teams there, they've won the World Cup 5 times. I'm not. Germany, obviously, one of the most successful names in the history of the World Cup. Um, and going into the tournament on the back of not so impressive, how do you put it? Not so impressive run of form,
Last,
especially when
last
you
few
look.
years.
Yes, especially when you look at what happened in the last Euros, and then you look at the UEFA Nations League as well. However, Germany did something really interesting that I'm curious to hear your opinion on. Olawale, just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. In the 26-man list that Germany put up, there is a particular name that sticks out, and is the name of Debo's favorite teenager right now. His name is Yusufa Mukoko, the young teenage prodigy currently playing his trade in Borussia Dortmund. Now, we all expect, well, we rather all know that this team will be dominated by Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, and then a sprinkle of players abroad in Real Madrid and a few other places like Timo Werner in RB Leipzig and the likes. But Olawale, my take to you is this. Considering how Germany has never been bereft of talent, why has it been difficult for them to build on the success of the 2014 FIFA World Cup, where they won it, defeating Argentina, obviously, like we know, in extra time? But they've never come close. Right now, the UEFA Nations League, the Euro 2020, even I believe it was 2016 Euro as well. I'm not so sure, but I
2016
can't
Euros, they
remember.
got to semi-finals. They got to
They got to the
semi-finals.
semi-final, lost to the host country, France.
France in
Um,
semi-final, yeah.
but beyond that, unlike before, let me put it in perspective. Most European winners tend to do so well at the next Euros. France winning the World Cup in 2002. No, sorry, what am I mixing?
They
In
won Cup in
1998,
98 and they won the Euros
then
in
winning the
2000.
Euros in 2000.
Yes.
Spain
They
winning
did something
the
similar.
Euros. Yeah, Spain
World
doing
Cup,
something similar.
World
They
Euros,
did
World Cup,
Euros,
Euros,
World Cup, Euros.
Euros.
Why has it been difficult for Germany to sustain that success? And what do you think? How far do you think they will go in this year's tournament? Olale.
Yeah, well, let me start from the last part. How far do we go in this year's tournament? I think I did the brackets today. I will try to see if I can share it. Uh, I think I probably see them as a quarterfinalist in this competition, but that doesn't mean they can't go beyond that. I
Okay.
think I think since they won the World Cup in 2014, I think they're having a little bit of initially then I think they had issues with
The
I think
coach.
their manager Joachim Low, I think he
Mhm.
overstayed. I think he overstayed.
I agree with
So,
you. I totally agree.
uh, personally, I think he should have probably quit. When I think after the Euros, that was my take. Immediately they lost to France, and you could see the implication, the results in 2018 at the World Cup when they lost out from the group stage. This is very unusual with the German team. But of late, I think they've been having issue with identity and rotation in their attacking side. Since the retirement of Miroslav Klose, despite the fact that Miroslav Klose might not be a prolific club football striker, but as far as the national team is concerned, he's a very reliable guy. But I think since he retired after the World Cup at 2004, 2016 Euros, I think they went with is it Gomez but they've been struggling to get a center forward.
It's clearly defined striker.
Yeah. Okay. So they've tried different personality there. This in the friendly match they played today, the manager tried the new guy, Youssoufa Moukoko. I'm sure he was just trying to give him a little bit of game time to get used to. We've seen Timo Werner playing in that role. They've tried Kai Havertz. They've probably tried a lot of different players.
Unnatural strikers playing in that role.
You understand? And for the three playing behind them, I think the coach has a lot of decisions to make. Is it going to be Musiala? Is it going to be Gareth? What's going to be the pivot, the double pivot? Is it going to be Godigan, Kimmich? Is it going to be Kimmich, Goretzka? Is it going to be Goretzka, Godigan? And for the three playing behind the striker, is it going to be Serge Gnabry? Is it going to be Hoffman? Is it going to be Leroy Sané? Is it going to be Musiala? So I think there's been a lot of changes of personality in recent times. So we are not sure of how the Germans will eventually have to play. Who is going to be the center forward? What is the role of Kai Havertz in that team? I think those are the questions that will need to be answered. I think that has really caused them a little bit of identity crisis and consistency in terms of personnel playing on a regular basis together. So I think if he's very lucky to be able to probably settle for if he's very lucky to settle for a very good front four, yes, then I think then the Germans could probably fancy their chances of going well. But for me, I think I'll probably still feel probably Thomas Muller will start behind whoever is going to be the center forward. Is it Kai Havertz? Is it Timo Werner? Left for me, I'll probably still go for Timo Werner. I think
but Timo is not going to the World.
Timo did not make the team. He was replaced by Niklas Füllkrug.
Niklas Füllkrug. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wow. So I just think they have a lot of things to sort out.
Timo is not going to the World.
I'm not sure the coach can confidently tell you that this is my starting front four or starting front three as it stands today. I think he has a lot of, as it stands now, don't be surprised if Thomas Muller is going to be the one to start
heading that attack.
Because for me, I'm not. I would never take any team that starts as a center forward. I would never take that team very serious. So I think that's their biggest question going into this competition: the front four, the best combination, who is going to start, who is going to deputize out. I think the defense is a bit stable. They don't really have much, not really big names, but at least there's a bit of stability from goalkeeper to the back four. I think it's going to be Nicolas Sule and Anthony Rudiger. Yeah. So that and the double pivots will likely be either Ilkay Gundogan and Joshua Kimmich, or Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka. So I think the biggest question is going to be the combination in attack, the front four, who is going to start, especially the center forward and the
Serge Gnabry to the right and Leroy Sané to the left. We think
so. They are now between. For me, I'll probably start Muller as center forward and start Musiala behind him. But for me, I just think that particular front four is a big question. that I think the coach is I'm not sure he's confident enough to say, okay, this is my best front four going into this competition.
And I tend to agree with you,
But for
Olawale.
me,
I know that.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Go on. Before I want to pose a question to you, but before you take over, I agree
Okay,
with
go ahead. Okay,
Olawale
go
to a
ahead.
very
No, I'm not
large
taking
extent.
over.
I
I'm not
know.
taking over.
Okay. I know we've not seen eye to eye in this World Cup preview for most of our takes, but I guess that may explain the return of Mario Götze after 5 years in the wilderness. I think it's really because the coach does not really know who, I mean, over a 3-year period, he really couldn't figure out who his 23-man list is. Because I still, maybe it's a reward for Götze, an entrant Frankfurt winning the Europa Cup. I don't know. But
It was not
Debo,
even with them last season. He just joined them at the beginning
he
of this season.
hasn't exactly. So I really don't know on the back of what that whatever it is that determined that particular stuff. So Debo, I will come to you right now.
I can answer that question for you though.
Okay, yeah. So
It's on the
before you
back
do,
of the injury to Timo. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, all right. If the front four is a weak link right now for Germany, what is their strongest link?
For me, I don't see the front four as being as a weak link. And I think Olawale and I agree behind closed doors. Right now, before we started the show, the German national team does not scream of a world-class striker. Maybe since Oliver Bierhoff and Jürgen Klinsmann's day. No disrespect to Klose, he's the highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup, but he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Like he's not in the form of maybe Ronaldo de Lima and the rest of the big name strikers that we've seen in the past. So for me, I still see their front four as their biggest strength. And this,
Wow.
yeah, and the stability, yeah, and I'll say to a large extent the stability that they enjoy at the back with the control of Manuel Neuer, especially at the back. You know, Rudiger that we know at Chelsea or Real Madrid is quite different from the Rudiger we've grown to know at in the German national team. It's not always the same thing. I see him in the German national. I'm like, okay, is it the same Rudiger I see and I love because of his exploits with Chelsea or with Real Madrid? And I think something that we're actually sleeping on is the fact that Karim Adeyemi is in this team. And the fact that Thomas Muller can be that first line for them. And if there's any coach in this world that can get the best out of a dysfunctional team, apart from Ancelotti, it's because of the Flick. We all understand what he did with the Bayern Munich team that Nagelsmann has turned to a kind of laughing stock right now. He brought out the best out of them. Those guys were not like the biggest household name when they went away ahead to win the Champions League and dominate Europe for at least 1 or 2 seasons. We're not looking at the best team that you ever seen in this world, but he brought out the best out of them by an acephalous mode, so to speak, bringing out the best and giving people an assigned duty. So if there's anybody that can do it, I'll still say it's Flick that can do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
And
much,
honestly,
Debo. Before you go, before I move on, yeah, go on. Before I move on to
you are
Spain,
playing Leo Goretzka that can give you goals, just Kimmich as well. I good again.
Debo.
At the back and yeah.
Okay, Debo, if you can do something with your connection, it will be great because it's a little bit spotty. But if you can hear me well, Olawale said he expects them to finish go to the quarterfinals at least. But really quickly, before we move on to Spain, what will be a good tournament for Germany?
Yeah, go ahead,
both of you, really quickly, Olawale, what will be a good tournament? What will be a good tournament for Germany?
Well, Germans 4 times champion, to be sincere, anything short of probably
Winning it.
winning
Yeah,
or
I'm here with you. I can hear you guys.
or semi-final will not be considered as
You
a good. There are
share,
some things that their ceilings are always, as in the expectations are always very high. Brazil,
Kachis
Argentina,
said before he moves on to
Germany.
Spain, you wanted to ask me a question.
Oh yeah, you interrupted Olawale there. I said, what would be a good tournament for Germany? Debor's network seems to be pretty spotty. So if you can
So
join us
as I was
back,
saying,
Debor. Yeah.
like I was saying, it's for Germany, winning it is going to be the thing because they have the talent. My problem with the front four is not about the talent. My problem is the what would I say, consistency in terms of selection of personnel. So they have the talent, and even when they don't have the talent, expectation for any German team is always very high, and nothing short of either winning or, at worst case scenario, a semi-final showing
Semi-final.
would be considered what do you call it, as a successful tournament, and that applies for other big teams such as Argentina.
The next team will be assessing right now.
Exactly. So it is what it is. It did either winning it or at least get to the semi-final.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on straight because of time to Spain, the next big team in Group E. Of course, Spain were winners in 2010 when this World Cup was hosted in South Africa. From that memorable goal by Andres Iniesta. Spain opened up, they start their World Cup, the first match on the 23rd against Costa Rica before facing off with against Germany, then rounding up the group stage with a match against Japan. For Spain, the biggest surprise I want to probably say is the omission of Thiago Alcantara and David De Gea, and the inclusion of Ansu Fati right now. Of course, we don't want to go into the whole David De Gea issue or story or whatever. Spain were by and large the best team not to win the Euros. Played some of the best eye-catching football during the last tournament. Yes, thank you. And from the mix of what I've seen, in Unai Simon, I believe they have a capable deputy for an underwhelming David De Gea, who I don't know why he was not at least in the 26-man list. But I guess Luis Enrique will explain that to us. Now, Spain seems to have successfully transformed itself organically. They didn't really suffer a blip, in my opinion. They didn't really suffer a blip in their transition to get this current young team. You look all around, there are teenagers everywhere you want to look, mixed with a little bit of experience. That being said, Debo, let me start with you. Will you say their strength is their youth, or the fact that, I guess for me, the question will be, beyond saying their strength is in the mix of youth and experience, what will make Spain stand out the most in this tournament?
That's a pretty hard question. That question was supposed to be for Olawale, but I'm still going to answer it as best as I can. Honestly, I feel the usefulness in the team is going to be the strength for this team. I don't always see eye to eye with Luis Enrique since he took over as Spain, but looking at the team and what they did at the last Euros, there's no way you can really fault him. It's surprising that someone like Thiago Alcantara is not in the team. I really don't agree with that. But with his Pedri, Gavi, and the rest in the team, I think he has a little bit mix of youthfulness that can carry the team against all odds. So I feel the usefulness in the team is a very big one, and that will be their greatest strength going into the World Cup, as a matter of fact.
Thank you. Olawale, same question for you. But in this case, the question is, at what point do you stop playing possessive football and just choke your opponent? Because I think that really was their their downfall at the last Euro, 60-something% possession, but no clinicality, or if there's a word
Thank
like
you,
that.
Kashi. You got his spot on. I think, like you rightly said, they could have probably easily won the Euros. Yes, the possession. I think I was thinking about the Spanish national team day before yesterday, and this particular point, just I just
It's
thought about
coming
this
up.
particular point. Like, the issue with the Spanish team that I have with them is uh there is no they are not clinical in terms of converting chances now.
Mhm,
They are not
mhm.
clinical in terms of
In their approach,
converting possession into
yes,
quality chances.
chances.
E- Either they overdo the passing,
Mhm,
or somebody is not probably playing the right final pass. They do everything right, not until when they get to the final third,
Final
they
thought.
seem to lack the idea about what they want to go, or how they want to do it. That could be due to probably inexperience on the part of some of those players. I just think they need a little bit of directness in that team, which is
mhm.
what Ferran Torres brings in at times. But again, Ferran Torres seems to be that guy that you don't even know his role. Does he play from the left side? Do you start him when you start him from the center forward position? He looks too small.
Mhm.
So Enrique needs to answer some questions. I think if they can work on how clinical they could be, clinical in creating chances, clinical in taking them, they looks like a team that have the identity of they will give anybody a problem on their own good day. If you watch
Mhm.
the last Nations League final against
France,
what do you call it, against
was it?
France,
Yeah.
you could see upon their possession and the French team looks more clinical. They have
Yeah.
guys who on their own day, all they need is just to turn up the hits on you for like 20-15 minutes and they get the result
Yes.
they are looking
And they
for.
will get what they
Unlike
want.
the
That's
Spanish
what
team
Spain
that
is
probably
missing. Yeah.
they have to overwhelm you for 90 minutes, which is not something that is easy to do or sustain. So for me, what combination is he going to use in terms of personnel? At the last Euros, we didn't see Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati is in this team. What role is he going to
Mhm,
play? Is he going to
mhm.
be a starter? Is he going to be on the bench? Morata, how reliable is Morata? Is he going to stick with Morata even if he doesn't score in the first game? If he's not playing Morata, who comes in? Is he going to play a false
Olmo.
nine?
It will be Olmo, Danny Olmo.
So those are the questions I think they will need. I think if they can work on how clinical they could be, I think they have. I think they look like one of the big teams
Seems
that
to
we are
be.
sleeping on. We are sleeping
Yes.
on. That's for me because it on their day they can just finish you. So two things. Another thing is the physicality of their team. That's another area I think,
They have
They
an
need
especially
to
issue.
when
work
you
on.
play a team like France. When you play a team like France, that they look very small in terms of their physique, as in
Physique.
their physique. So can they compensate for this with their possession-based football? Those are the questions we need.
I, Olare, for me, I think the business challenge is if you are going to a tournament and Alvaro Morata is your number one striker, then it's a major problem. Even when you get the chances, Morata will probably need 5 chances or 10 before he can
I,
convert it.
I almost I almost wanted to pose the question to both of you. What is Morata doing there? Somebody once said that Morata, the way he has changed club, it looks like they use Morata for money laundering because he's just moving club. For God's sake, that guy has gone to I can't remember how many clubs, but
Big
he's still in
teams
his
for big
twenties.
money. Yeah,
He's
in
still
the
in his
line.
in his late 20s.
Uh-huh.
Reminds me of an ever young Morientes who never seemed to age. But Morata epitomizes the issue with Spain right now.
Exactly.
Talent, but not physical and clinical enough. If you want who Spain is, just take a look at who Morata is. The finesse is there, the skills are there, but he only converts about 20% of his chances. That's 1 in 5. And when he gets to the knockout stages where chances will be hard to come by, a
Exactly.
la the Euros, they only had about 3 quality chances against Italy. and that's a team that they were more talented than. So chances will be hard to come by. The referees will swallow their whistle and allow games to flow.
Yeah.
I have,
I don't want to interrupt you. The Spanish
yeah,
team is a team that can score 5 goals today, and tomorrow they struggle to get
and
one.
have a drought. Yes, and have a drought. So,
Yeah.
Debo, before you take over, what is
Uh-huh.
a good tournament for Spain? Olawale, both of you.
For Spain, for me, I don't really like Spain. So I think a good tournament for them would be a quarterfinal at the very least, or second round. I really don't rate them, honestly. Alali, I don't know about you.
Now, for me, I think they are, I think the Spanish team, like I said, that they looks like we are sleeping on them. I think they have a very good team. I think the midfield is very good. They have options. There's a Carlos Soler, there is Sergio Busquets, there is Rodri, there is Pedri, there is Gavi.
Yes, Gabi, Marco
This
Asensio.
there is Marco Asensio, they have Sarabia. They have talent. They might not be they might not be in the class of the talent we are talking might not be in the class of the Leo Messi. But when you talk
Yeah.
about that grade 2, grade 3, they have a
Uh-huh.
lot of guys within that mix who could cover up for you not having that top guy, because you have a lot of guys who
True
could do a
that.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Uh I, from my bracket, I see them getting to the semi-final. I think
Oh
either Spain
wow.
or Germany. I think either Spain or Germany is going to beat Belgium in the second round.
Okay.
I'm very sure of that. I think either Spain or Germany is going to beat Belgium in the second round. I see them getting to the semi-final, but I think a quarter-final for this young set of boys will not be a bad
Okay.
tournament.
Bad
Will
tournament.
not be a
Yeah,
bad
100%.
tournament.
I
But
agree
I
with you.
see
I
them
agree with you.
probably get to the semi-finals.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's what I'm thinking as well. Quarterfinals or the semifinals, a very good outing for them. And like Kachia asked me the other time, but I could not answer because of my wonky network. For Germany, semifinal is the very least that we can expect from them. And looking at the Japanese team and this Costa Rican team, not so much to talk about both teams. I don't expect any form of surprises. Those two guys pulling off surprises. But do you think there's a possibility for a surprise, especially from Japanese point of view?
I think what we're going to get from Japan and Costa Rica is, even though they will not qualify, I think they will
They
make
have a big
it a
team.
bit difficult for both Germany and Spain. We are going to see exciting games. Germany,
Yeah.
Spain will still qualify, but I think it will not just be a walkover over those two guys. I think they will give them a little bit of fight. We know Japanese will come with their techniques, just like the South
Yeah.
Korean. They are very
Mm-hmm.
small, very light, and they like to play a little bit of free flow, open flare football. So, but
Football.
again, uh, they might not have the talent enough to probably get. I just don't see them doing anything, but I just feel like it will be an exciting
Doing
game.
anything,
The games is
basically.
going to be very interesting, but
But
Germany and Spain
but
they're going to prevail.
Olawale, do you think they would, Costa Rica particularly when you get there, will be inspired by what they did at the 2014 World Cup? Have still
Those
having
things
a Keylor
those
Navas,
things are not those things are
Navas.
not those things are not sustainable. It's not something you can repeat every now and then. It's a
I,
what
I don't
what happened in
against
2014 is a
against
one-off thing.
against kind of yeah against this kind of quality. It's going to be difficult. Maybe if they were in another group, there could be a potential to spring up surprises.
But they were in the
But
same group as Italy and England, and they came out of that group. They came out from that group, guys. So
okay,
what if
let's see.
Spanish national team underwhelms? Because there
Yeah,
is in every tournament, there's always that big name that manages to underwhelm. In
yeah, exactly.
And
2002,
it's
it
always
was
that small
France.
thing that probably
Yeah,
brings surprises. Well,
yeah,
but
Yes. So
exactly.
I'm not expecting that, to be sincere with you. I think it's going to be a
Yeah,
straight
nice.
up this thing for Germany and Spain.
For Germany and Spain. I don't know. I don't really like the philosophy of Luis Enrique. I think he's a little bit antagonistic in his approach towards the white side of Spain, which is Real Madrid. And that's why I don't really like him. But notwithstanding, he has a very youthful team. And sometimes when you look across Europe, the youthful teams might be the telling difference. Take for, and I'll give you an instance of Arsenal. So much of their games has been the telling difference of the usefulness, that useful, should I say, energy, burst of energy. uh, so I expect to see that with Spain as well. And Germany, I respect Flick so much, unless something stagnating happen or something out of the ordinary happens. I expect Germany to come out of the group as well. So I don't really think Costa Rica and Japan will be able to bring up spring any kind of surprises. Maybe, hopefully, yes. I wouldn't mind as long as Spain is the one going out of the group.
This is a very interesting thing I want to point out,
Uh-huh.
because by the third game, one of these two big names would need a win to secure qualification, because they only meet on the second on match day 2. So it means that by the time it's match day 3, they either both have 4
Yeah.
points, or one team has already qualified and one team needs the win to qualify. Based on that, how will
Yeah.
this group end? Olale, you first.
It's still, no matter the permutation, no matter how you probably try to change the as in,
The dynamics.
the matches, I still think Spain and Germany, we have enough quality
But who will
to
be first? Who will be first?
first in this group. I would probably say Germany. I'll say Germany because I think Spain Belgium is going to win in the second round, and I think Spain are going to defeat Belgium, because I think the Belgian guys at this stage are overrated.
For me, I'll say Germany as well. Honestly, I feel, and it boils down to just one thing. I know a lot of don't see it, but it boils down to one thing. A lot of thinks the front four is the problem. I see the front four as
No.
the biggest
I'm not saying the front four is the problem. What I'm saying is,
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure they have. He has, what do you call it? It's certain. Okay, this is my starting
Okay.
four.
Starting four. Okay.
In terms
For
of
me,
talent, of course,
yeah,
there's guys.
I
There's
think,
Serge Gnabry,
yeah,
there is Hoffman,
yeah.
there
I
is
think
Leroy
I
Sané.
think it's still gonna be Germany, just a little ahead of Spain, unless we see something different, which I probably would not see. We would not see rather. I think it's still going to be Germany, just a little slightly ahead of Spain. For this one, Germany should take it ahead of Spain. For this one, honestly, that's the way I see it. Anyway, since we all think Costa Rica and Japan would not be giant killers in this group, I think that would be the wrap for today's edition of the preview of Group E of the World Cup. Till we see you again tomorrow. My name is Ladeja Adebowale, and I see Ablawale with me today, and Oracle Kalchi will be here tomorrow. Don't go anywhere, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good one.